Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Let's welcome to the session on data science and time series forecasting using Python. I hope all of you can able to hear me. Okay. So myself, Venkat, before going to delve into this session, I would like to inform you that all of you are by default mute. And if you have any queries, you can use the chat box. And at the end of this webinar session, we have a dedicated Q&A session. So wherein we can discuss on your questions. Okay. So I'm very happy and I'm very thrilled to be here with you all. And I'm excited to share my knowledge and insights to you on this wonderful evening. So once again, all welcome to this webinar. Okay, so before jump into this session, let me introduce about myself. Myself, Venkat. I have done my master's from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, in mechanical engineering. And I have close to 14 plus years of experience as a research data scientist. And as a part of my master thesis, I have done my MTech project in Technical University Darmstadt, so which is one of the topmost university in Europe. And when it comes to my expertise, so my expertise areas are in the machine learning, artificial intelligence, optimization, time series analysis, and the chatbots, which are into the natural language processing. And as I mentioned, I do have a 14 years of experience in the various domains, which are varying from automobile, energy, gas, manufacturing, banking, finance, and these are a few to name. And as a, I do have a few of the accomplishments. So one of the greatest accomplishment is I'm the DAT scholar, so which is nothing but the scholarship provided by the Indo-German collaboration. And when it comes to my current research, so which is completely into the explainable artificial intelligence. So basically, whenever you are going to take some decisions, so you always need to provide the explanations. So why you have taken a particular decision and all. And another current research area is into the natural language processing. Probably many of you are aware of the OpenAI's chatbot, right? ChatGPT. And another thing is, the time series forecasting. So that is one of the greatest application areas of data science. Okay. Now, without further ado, so let me just jump into today's content. In this webinar, I'm going to cover what is the data science and what are its various applications. And one of the greatest applications of data science, that is time series forecasting. And again, so what are the applications of the time series forecasting? And when you're working on the time series forecasting, so what are the various steps to be taken if you want to work on the data pre-processing side? And again, so what are the various methodologies which are employed to build any forecast model using Python program? And followed by, I would like to just touch upon what is the machine learning algorithms. And if you want to become a successful data scientist, and what are the skill set that you have, and what are the various process flow that you need to be followed. Followed by a simple case study, so which is about prediction of the stock prices using the Python. So I'll be just showcasing it, then followed by a Q&A. Okay. Yeah. So what is the data science, right? So nowadays, many of you people are hearing this buzzword, right? Data science, data science, data science, what it is all about. To make it in very simple, data science is nothing but take the right decision at right time. So that is simplest definition of data science. But if you want to know in-depth details of what is data science, you just look data science as the two terms. One is the data, other one is the science. When it comes to the data, so what is data? Data is nothing but a simple information or the knowledge. And where can we find it? Yes, you can find the data anywhere. The best example is if you can take your mobile phones. In the mobile phones, there are various applications. If you take one of the famous application that is called WhatsApp. So if you can just open the WhatsApp, you have huge amount of data, again, which is of various formats. When I say the various formats, the data is in the form of a text. It could be in the form of an audio. It could be in the form of a video or the images. So these are the various formats of data that you can get it in various devices, like storage devices. And then how can we explore it? So what does it mean is, let's say, for example, if you have the data, so how to see that, right? So how to understand that? So if you want to see that, or if you want to understand that, so we can just make this some kind of visuals or the visualization. With the help of the visualization, you can just look at what it is and what it talks about. So that is like simple information about the data. And another word that is called science, which is from the data science. Probably you all might heard about science. So during our schooling education, during our graduation also, every day, like we used to keep on hearing the word called science. But what is science? Science is nothing but it's a kind of a tool which helps us what is already there, right? So for example, if you take this universe, right? The universe contains the plenty of information and knowledge. But what basically the scientist does, the scientist, what they does is they do certain kind of experiments and they're always trying to understand what is there in the universe, right? So if you take the greatest scientist called Newton, so he just given a statement or he just proved us the earth has a gravitational forces. What does it mean? So if you throw anything from the earth upside, so it is always attracting towards its center. So that is the one of the greatest, the property, right? So actually he does not invented it. So it is already there, but with the help of the scientific experiments, so he proved that. So we do have a lot of knowledge in the universe. So the other reason, if you take across the globe, so there are like various scientific communities, they're continuously working. So they're just trying to understand what is there in the universe. Similarly, here the science, with the help of science, there is a lot of information hidden in the data. Now, by using science, I would like to extract the knowledge or the information, which is obviously going to help my business. So how to get the more profits, right? Or ultimately, the main aim of data science and its applications in various businesses is we want to improve quality of our human life, right? So that could be in many ways. So how you want to live healthily. So how you want to take a particular decision at right time in the various business applications and various problems that you are going to encounter in your day-to-day life, right? So that is like a simple definition of a data science. Now I would like to give you few of the applications of data science. So there are many. So I just listed out a very few. The first one is like predictive modeling. So what does it mean is it is going to help us to predict what is going to be happen in the future or what is going to be happen. You are going to know in well advance so that you can take a right decision at right time. For example, if you take a customer churn. So what is the customer churn? So especially if you take the network organizations or network providers. So they are always trying to focus on their customers. They always try to protect their customers such that they don't want to be attracted by their competitors, right? So that is like one of the greatest problem for the network providers. And they're always trying to identify from their customer base who are all going to be the churners. When I say the churners, who are like not interested about their products. So if the network providers in advance, they can able to identify the potential churners, so they can make some kind of decisions, right? So they can have a discussions with the customers and they'll try to understand what is their problems. So they can always try to sort it out. So that all has to be happen before they leave the organization or before they attracted with a competitor product, right? So if you start bargaining with them or negotiating with them once they left, so it is of no use. So that's the reason. Again, I'm just stressing data science is nothing but taking the right decision at right time. And another applications of natural language, another applications of data science is natural language processing. This is like simple English. Like we are the humans, so we can easily able to understand and we can easily able to communicate with each other by using a English language. But how our machines, right, the laptops, the mobile devices, how they are going to understand the simple English? So that part of area comes into the natural language application area. So when I say the natural language processing application area, the best example is the chatbots. If you open any website nowadays, by default, there is a like pop-up which comes, chatbot, hey, how may I help you, right? So there is no human. So it's completely a machine, so which is going to be interacting with you in a very conversational way. It is trying to help you a lot. And another important application area in the natural language processing is like sentiment analysis. Let's say, for example, you are planning to buy a product, right? So basically you look at the reviews. So whether many of the people are happy with the product or unhappy with the product. So which comes into the category of a sentiment analysis. So that can be again done by using the natural language applications. The another important data science application is like image and video analysis. The one of the biggest example is if you look at in the Europe or US, like many like automobile companies started using the autonomous vehicles. When I say the autonomous vehicles, what does it mean? So there is no driver. Your car is going to pick up you and it is going to drop you at the destination. But how the car is going to take the decisions and how the car is going to be able to see what is on the roadside and with how much speed it has to go. And whenever the signal comes, right? So what type of decision it has to take, right? It's completely, it has to see with its cameras, it has to capture, and it has to understand what it is, right? Based on that, it has to keep on taking the decision. So that part comes into the like image and video analytics area. Guys, so if you have any queries, like as I mentioned, so we have a like separate dedicated Q&A session. So there we can clarify our doubts. And another area is like recommender system. So which is like, again, one of the most important applications of data science. Probably if you all might have using the various e-commerce websites like Flipkart, Amazon, Myntra, whenever you purchase some item, so before the billing, it also like making some suggestions. People who bought this item also purchase this item. So it is trying to recommend you, right? So by this, it is going to like optimize, or it is going to smooth your, the transaction process or your shopping process and all, right? So it is going to help both the e-commerce companies as well as the customers. And other thing is like fraud detection, right? So if you take the credit card or the banking or the insurance companies, so they are always trying to minimize the various kinds of frauds which occurs, right? And another most important area, basically, which is very famous in United States and Europe, the healthcare analytics. Why it is very important is, in the US and Europe, there is a shortage of doctors, and there is a lack of, the quality of treatment. So if you want to, if you don't want to take, any chance of having the lack of treatment or quality of treatment and all, so you are deploying the machines, so which are going to provide you what type of, decisions to be taken, what type of treatment to be taken, what type of diagnosis test to be taken. So the machine is going to help you a lot. So without, the shortage of doctors and all. And other thing is like social network analytics. So probably you all might be using the Facebook, Twitter, Instagrams and all. So if you just open, there are a lot of advertisements which are going to be happen. Like who are going to make the advertisements? Obviously the marketing people. So why they are going to make the advertisements? Because they want to showcase their products, right? So they need to identify the right customers to whom they want to display about their products and all, right? So which comes under the optimization of their budget allocations. The other thing is like supply chain management or supply chain optimization. Like how quickly you want to deliver your items. So it is going to take care of all of your infrastructure, the operations, everything and all, right? So these are a few to name the applications of data science. And since today's webinar is all about the time series forecasting, and the time series forecasting is one of the greatest applications of data science. And if you take any of this category, if your data is dependent on your time, right? So I'm just stressing this point. So basically, you will get the data in the form of like two ways. One is the data depends upon your time. Other one is your data which does not depends upon the time. By default, if your data which comes with respect to time, then you are going to use a technique called forecasting, and we are calling the data called like time series data, right? So what is time series forecasting, right? Time series forecasting is nothing but, just look at what was happened in the past by looking at your historical data. And you need to take the predictions. The predictions, what I'm calling it as a forecasting, right? To make it very simple, you just look at just what happened in the simple past or the long past, and you just try to forecast what is going to be happening in the future. So by this, there are many application areas. Let's say, for example, if you take the finance, the biggest and the most popular example is predicting the stock prices. I hope many of you people are aware of what is the markets, like share market and all. So many of you people are like interested about what is the right entry and right exit, so that you are going to optimize your profits and minimizing the losses. So how it is going to be happen? If you can know what is going to be just happen in the next 1 hour or next 1 day or next 1 month. So based on that, whether you are going to be a investor or the trader. If you are going to be the investor, so you'll be just looking what is going to be happening in a month or a 3 months. Or if you are going to be a trader, you always look for what is going to be happening next 1 minute or next 5 minutes, right? So those are all how it is going to be happen, right? Simply by forecasting. And the other thing is like in the economics, the biggest challenge now the globe is facing is the recession, right? The inflation. So they already forecasted. So what is going to be happen in the future, and the inflation is keep on rising, and the normal people, they are unable to afford if they want to purchase anything, right? So they want to take a precautionary actions. That's the reason if you look at like in the United States or any country, so they are keep on increasing their interest rates so that they want to just balance it, right? So how they are going to increase the interest rates and all? Because they just looked at the past and the current, and they wanted to get rid of all of these challenges, and they wanted to improve quality of our life, right? So as I mentioned, the data science is all about the ultimate aim of data science is just to improve quality of our life. That could be happening in many ways. But if you take any problem, right? So there is always certain kind of challenges which are associated with a few challenges in the time series data, or when you want to forecast what is going to be happening in the future. So you always look at your data. The data is, many times it is not quality data. So there is always some kind of, missing values, or sometimes the patterns which are in your data are not at all giving any kind of meaningful insights. And a few of them are like trends. If your data is keep on increasing and suddenly there is a sharp decrease in your data, right? So it doesn't give any sort of, decision-making process and all. Other thing is like seasonality. So what is seasonality? Let's say, for example, if you take any e-commerce websites, or maybe, any like grocery shops and all, basically during the weekends, you can see there is a sharp increase in the sales. And again, if you take during the occasions or the festivals, there is the sharp increase in the like demand for your product. So those are like kind of the seasonality. So basically which occurs on the weekly basis or monthly basis or the quarterly basis. So you need to capture all such kind of information when you are going to work on the time series problems. Okay. Now, when this slide talks about especially the forecasting applications. So one of the best example is, the prediction of the stock prices. The prediction of stock prices is, this slide talks about the commodity prices of like gold and silver, and for the year 2019, and they wanted to predict what would be the like behavior of your gold and silver prices. For that, what they are doing is like, as per the definition of my time series forecasting, so they will be like trying to see what was happened in the last year in the month of June, like 2018 and 2017. The green and red color lines are. So based on this past information, I'll be forecasting what is going to be happen and what would be my prices in the month of June, right? So if you look at my green colored line, right? So you can get some kind of insights. So what would be the like minimum price in which you can just have your entry, you can purchase it. So if you look at here, so maybe at 8 o'clock on the June 19th, so you can just enter, and again by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, there is a very big up movement. So this is the point where you can exit, right? So in this way, like you can know what is the correct entry and correct exit, right? So in this way, you can just always take the decision. And the other thing is like the sales projection. Like if you take the, the e-commerce companies and all, so they always try to make their sales to be very higher. Or if they know in advance how the sales are going to be happen, so they can pile up their inventory, they can optimize, their supply chain, everything and all, right? So in this way, like they can gain the customer trust, at the same time, customers are also going to have the like smoother the shopping experience and transaction experience, everything and all. And another interesting application areas of forecasting is the healthcare. You just try to correlate with it. Again, I'm just mentioning forecasting is nothing but what is going to be happen in the next 1 minute or next 1 hour, or just simple future based on the past. So this is like if you want to know a particular patient is having the cancer and doctor wants to take a decision like after how much time he wants to take the surgery, because of the very late stages. So doctors may not take the decision of having the surgery and all. So they need to provide some kind of medicines. And at the same time, so doctors, if they can able to look at the, the cancer cells and all, so how they are growing, how much fast they are growing. So they can forecast it. Okay, probably in another 3 months, the cancer cells are going to be in this much size. So if they want to reduce the size of the cancer cells, they can give some kind of medications and all. So in that way, like it is always helping the doctors if they can clearly capture the information about the growth of the cancer cells and all, right? So again, the type of data here it's completely the images, but in the previous slides, the data is completely in the form of a numbers, right? So another example is like heart attack detection. This is just a simple example. Many of you people started using the smartwatches, right? So what it does is, it is continuously monitoring your health status, like such as your blood pressure levels, the temperatures, heartbeat rate and all, on the timely manner, right? So whenever it sees some kind of sudden spikes, right? So sudden spikes. So it is going to check, hey, what is his health condition just half an hour before or 1 hour before or 1 day ago. So is it same as the current behavior, or is it something completely different from the past 1 day or 2 days, right? So if there is some changes, the abnormal changes, it is going to give us some kind of alarm to you, or it is going to give us some kind of alarm to your doctor. Hey, there is some kind of abnormalities which are going to be happen in this person's body, right? So in that way, they can even able to save the lives of the people, right, who are going to have such kind of abnormalities. So again, so the backend algorithms, right? If you use these devices and all, the devices which are inside the softwares or the machine learning algorithms. So basically what that does is, which keeps on monitoring your data, always trying to forecast it, right? Those are like a few of the application areas. And why do I mention those application areas is just to convey to you, there are no businesses which doesn't have the data. And if you take any random business, they're always trying to know what is going to be happening in the future, so that they can try to adjust their current business model, or they can even try to enhance their configuration in the future, so that they always want to have the smoother experiences for them as well as for employees or for the customers. So I just covered the examples in the healthcare, economics, the marketing, and a kind of the manufacturing, right? But if you take any business problem, the first thing, you are getting the data. So after getting the data, the data is not quality data. So you always do certain kind of the pre-processing steps, such that the data is now ready to be used for the forecasting or for the learning process, right? The first step is like, you always check for the importance of your data, whether the data is quality enough. If it is not quality data, such as like your data doesn't have any patterns, there are some kind of duplicates, there are some kind of missing values and all. So how are you going to take care of them? So there are like various statistical techniques, like imputation techniques, so with which you can fill the missing values. Then like as I mentioned in the time series, there are like always few kind of challenges, such as like the trends, seasonality, the cyclicity and all. So before going to use your data for the forecasting, you need to make your data to be stationary. You need to stationarize your data, so that there won't be any trends, there won't be any huge fluctuations, so that your learning process is stable and it is trying to extract as much as the knowledge. And how do you know that your data is stationary? Again, you are going to use certain kind of statistical techniques. So one such technique is called like decay Fuller test, augmented decay Fuller test, which is going to help you whether your data is stationary. Yes, if your data is stationary, you can go ahead and use the data for your decision-making process. And if your data is not stationary, so how are you going to make the non-stationary data to be stationary? Or if you, without converting your data to be stationary, so are there any methods, right? So now in the next slide, I'll be talking about what are the various, methods to be used, like how to build the forecasting models. So this is the the most important area, which is like a hard core area for the many of the data scientist people or the machine learning engineers. So what they do is they always try to identify what are the right techniques to use the data in a proper way, so that it is always trying to give you the good results or with most accurate results. There are like different techniques. One is like simple statistical models, other one is like machine learning algorithms, and then followed by like deep learning approaches, right? So when I say the like simple statistical models, the middle two one, you can just simply take the average of what happened in the past. It could be like simple moving average techniques, exponential moving average techniques, so there are like techniques called like ARIMA and VAR. And another thing is like, if you want to use the machine learning algorithms, we have so many algorithms which are available. One such algorithm is like gradient boosting technique. And if you want to use the like one of the like state of the art algorithm, that is called long short-term memory model, which is simply, it is going to mimic the human brain, and it is going to capture the very long information as well as the short information. Let's say, for example, if you take the humans, right? So basically we have the tendency of forgetting what was happened. Like if I ask you suddenly, hey guys, so what were you doing last year on the same day? So obviously you don't remember it, right? So maybe if I ask you the last week, Friday, so what were you doing? So obviously you could not able to memorize all those things. So these are the like very deep learning. So when I say the deep learning, so which are trying to memorize, which are trying to understand what was happened in the very long past, or the same time, or the very short time. So with which you can able to, what is happened in the past, and you can train your data. Once if your model is trained, you can just use it for your the forecasting purpose. Yeah. So this is another important slide. Like as I mentioned, so these are all completely part of the data science. So it could be like time series forecasting, or it could be like object detections, right? Anything if you take. So all are part of a data science. Data science is a kind of an umbrella. So these are all the various applications. But how does a data scientist work? If you take any organization or any business, the first thing is you always try to ask the right question. Let's say, for example, now many of people are trying to raise their hands, right? Because they have the question, they are trying to understand, right? So that is the first greatest quality of the data scientist. So he always keeps on ask if you don't understand, whether it could be a relevant or irrelevant, whether it is a like even nonsense question. So whatever it may be, you just ask until you understand the problem clearly, right? So these are the two things you need to do that. So once if you understand the problem by asking so many questions, the next step is you should have the data. You ask them the data. So where you can get the data. So that is the step is called collect the data. You can ask your clients or the business people. So once if you collect the data, the next step is you need to check for the quality check. And this is the step where you are going to pre-process your data, right? So once if you pre-process data, so if you remember from my first slide, so how are you going to explore your data, right? So that is going to be happen in the form of a visuals. By looking at the visuals, you can get at least some idea about what it talks about, whether are there any trends, any seasonality and all. Once if you explore the data, so this is the place where you are going to use various statistical models or machine learning algorithms or very deep learning approaches, right? You just apply it and you just check. So how well is your model is learned, right? And how well it is going to predicting your future values, right? So once that is done and all of your the leaders are happy, then you are going to communicate your results with your business people. So these are all the like common process flow or the common steps. If you take any business problem and if you go to any organization, so you need to follow these steps. And these are all completely ordered. And right, so I'm keep on saying statistical models, the machine learning algorithms, the deep learning approaches and all. So what are all those? Let's say, for example, if you take your kid, why are you sending your kid to the schools? Because they can go to the schools and they can learn some knowledge. So how they're going to learn the knowledge? Because in the schools, there are the expertise teachers. teachers are going to teach the students or the kids. So this is the way how you need to behave. This is the way how you need to learn any information. Similarly, assume that my machine learning models or the statistical techniques or deep learning approaches are a kind of teachers. So they are like trying to, extract the information from the data, and they are just trying to teach to your machines, right? If you take your laptops or mobile phones or any devices, there are different various ways of the learning the information from the data, right? So once if your a kid is having the sufficient knowledge, so what you do? So you can just leave him outside. Now you are confident that, hey, my kid can easily able to understand and he can easily able to take on his own decision. Here also, with the help of these such techniques, I'm going to use these algorithms on my data and extracting the knowledge, and I'm just tuning them. So that is called like learning or the training process. So when I say the training process, basically there are two different ways. One is the supervised machine learning approach. Other one is the unsupervised machine learning approach. Supervised machine learning approach is nothing but you clearly have what is your business problem. So what is your target? Let's say, for example, you wanted to predict the stock prices. So the clear objective is the price. You wanted to predict the stock price, right? Those kind of problems will fall under the category of supervised. And unsupervised machine learning algorithms are basically it doesn't have proper the objective and all. So no one knows. You simply have the data, but you don't have any objective to work on it. Simply what you do is just take the data, just make your hands to be dirty, and whatever the insights that you derive, you just share with your business people. That's all. So based on that, they can try to formulate the business problem, right? And another area of machine learning area is like natural language processing. In these two cases, you can apply any kind of data, like could be like numbers, images, the videos, audios and all. But this is the like dedicated area wherein you are exclusively working on the English sentences or the English text, right? For example, the chatbot. And another area is like model validation. Model validation is nothing but which model to be selected for your particular business problem, right? So this is like simply all about the machine learning, and which is going to help us to try to extract the knowledge from the data, and which is eventually going to help us to take the right decisions, right? So here now I would like to just give a simple demo on there is a stock called Google. So how to predict its price. Okay, so I'm just opening up my Python notebook. Guys, I hope all of you can able to see my Jupyter notebook. Maybe Vinod, you can confirm me. Yeah. Now you have like sufficient fair knowledge about what is the time series forecasting and what are its applications and how it is going to help us the various businesses and how it is eventually going to enhance quality of our lives, right? Okay, now here I would like to demonstrate this with the Python. Okay, so basically there are various programming languages that you can use to build your forecasting models. So the one of the most widely used programming language is called Python. And whatever the screen that you are, I think many of people are like raising their hands. So let me make a pause. So can anyone like type in the chat box? So what was the issue? Vinod, can you confirm me? Okay, so let me share my screen again. Yeah, sorry for the interference. Okay, let me share my screen again. I hope now all of you can able to see my screen. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you. And once again, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. Okay, let's start. So, whatever you are seeing, right? So it's a Jupyter notebook. So it's a kind of a, the IDE. So basically we call it as the IDE. There are various integrated development environments are available. So like one of the like easiest and, way for the data scientist people to write their code and all can be done using the Jupyter notebook. So this is a kind of a simple notebook. So once if you open the Jupyter notebook, the first step in writing any of your algorithms is you need to import, all of your Python packages or the Python modules. So basically these modules contains all of the mathematical information. And like, as I mentioned, if you want to do any kind of data pre-processing steps and all, which all can be done by using the already available Python packages. One such package is called, the pandas. And once after, importing the all the required Python packages, the next step is you should bring your data into this Jupyter notebook environment so that you can just start using the data and you can just start working on the data, right? So I'm just importing my data over here. And I'm just trying to understand my data. Like it's a kind of completely the visualization and some kind of little bit statistics about my data. So I'm just trying to understand what it is all about, right? So if you look at here, by just looking at this graph, what it says is, this is my past data since from my last 4 years data. So how the price of a Google stock, which is varying. So like simple kind of insights, right? So maybe in the year like 2017, the price of a Google stock is around like $300. And during the time, it's keep on increasing, right? There are some kind of ups and downs. So basically we can call them as a, the seasonality patterns. And if you look, if you try to make a straight line here, right? It's a kind of a trend. It's keep on increasing, right? That is called trend. So this is like some kind of insights before you just start forecast what would be the price of a the stock called Google, right? And once you does the visualization part and all, so there are some kind of pre-processing techniques. So one such technique is called like normalization. So basically, why do we do normalization is I don't want my learning to be biased. So I want my learning to be fair enough, and it has to capture all the knowledge. So what is meant by bias is, let's say for example, in the current session, there are around like 100+ students, and I want to see all of you people in the same way. So I don't want to be biased by a few of the candidates and all. So I want to take care of all those things and all. So for that, we have the concept called like standardization, normalization. So once, you pre-process all of your data, and this is the step where you need to extract the knowledge by using the various algorithms. So currently, for this demo purpose, I'll be using a algorithm called LSTM. LSTM stands for, long short-term memory models. As I mentioned, these are the like one of the powerful algorithms which can able to grab all the knowledge from the past few years. And at the same time, what was just happened yesterday and day before yesterday, it is always trying to make some kind of understandings from that, and it is going to take the decisions, or it is going to give you the future values. So these are the like one of the most powerful deep learning algorithms which are going to mimic your complete human brain. When I say the human brain, so how the human brain works? So basically, all the kind of due to like electricity and all. So always there are some kind of the spark which occurs. So it is going to activate the few of the nervous system. Let's say, for example, if you want to see, so what is the main component? So the eyes. So it is going to, activate the nerves which are corresponding to your eye. Similarly, these deep learning techniques, which are going to activate what is the required information and all. So based on that, it's keep on extract all the knowledge, like the kid, how it is going to learn, and even we also how are we going to see and hear, right? In the similar manner, it is going to extract all the knowledge, and which is going to learn as much as the information, and ultimately, it is going to give you the proper decisions and all. So here I'm going to use another package called Keras. So this is again Python package, which is responsible for to use your the long short-term memory models. Okay. So now another step is, after importing the deep learning packages and all, you need to start train it. This is the like training process which is happening. So like basically training is for some days or some months, right? If you take your kid. Similarly here also, it is going to take the considerable amount of time to understand what is data, right? It shouldn't by hat it. It should like generalize the information and all, right? So this is the way how the training is going to happen. Based on your size of data, sometimes it is going to be take some hours to the days and days to the weeks and to the months as well. But if you want to minimize your learning process, you need to use the like high computing machines and all. So once your training is done, the next step is, yes, my model is ready. I can just use my model and use it for my forecasting. So my model is now ready. That model is called regressor here. I'm going to use my regressor model. I'm going to predict what is going to be happen in the future. So now here I would like to forecast what is going to be happen in the next 20 days, the price of my Google stock price. So this is like I just forecasted at the day 0, right? So how it is going to be happen and all. So when you look at these forecasted values, basically what you do, maybe you can just take the entry point here. If you are an investor, you will buy the stocks, and this is the place from where it started. Again, the price is decreasing. So this is the place where you are going to exit all of your position, so that you will be ultimately into the profit zone. And this is like how the real values occurs. Like after 20 days, when I plot what is my forecasted values at the day 0 and what are my actual values, it looks like almost there is a pattern, right? But there is always a certain kind of error which is associated. But still, if you want to reduce that error, there are some techniques, and even you can add some more data and all, right? So this is like the simple case study of forecasting your Google stock price using the Python. Okay. So now let me go back to my presentation. Guys, sorry. So again, I need some confirmation from you. So could you see my PowerPoint presentation? Okay, thank you, guys. Yeah. So guys, this is all about about today's webinar session. And before jumping to the Q&A session, I would like to give a small announcement. So we have a the dedicated session which is exclusively for the data science, and the demo date would be on the 20th May evening 7 p.m. IST onwards. And we also have a like regular training sessions which starts from 22nd May 2023. Again, the timings are evening 7 p.m. onwards. Guys, once again, thank you. Thanks for your time. So yeah, so if you have any queries, we have the like 15 minutes of time. I'm very happy to clarify many of your doubts. Either you can type in your chat, or even you can raise your hand so that I can unmute the participants. I think Yogesh is asking, yes, training is for open for everyone. And what is the total duration of next session? Okay, so the demo duration would be, again for 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. And when it comes to the regular classes, so that would be for 45 days. Yeah, Varun, so the training registration links will be shared by the admin people, the SkillUpRight people. So you can just drop an email to them. So they will help you out. Yeah, regarding the cost, everything and all, they will do that. Manishai, so basically the course would be of 45 days, and every day the duration would be 1 hour. And my course content is designed in such a way that if you could able to spend at least 1 hour to 2 hours after my session, a guy who is having the fresher to the 8 years of experience, so he can easily able to crack any interviews, and he can easily able to solve any of the business problems. So in such a way, I have designed my syllabus and at the same time, every weekend I'll be giving the assignments which are going to assess your understanding what was happened in the past 1 week. And at the same time, I'll be giving you few of the capstone projects, like real-time projects, and how it works and all. And we also have a separate platform wherein I'm going to, completely mimic the real-time scenarios and how it works. I think Abdur Rahman is asking some technical question. Isn't it something like a fine-tuned data that is giving details on average data of a previously fed data to forecast? That's what we call the machine learning algorithm. If not, then how does the algorithm work for forecasting? Okay, guys. So, if you take any machine learning algorithms or artificial intelligence, it has to learn some knowledge from it, like by looking at the patterns. When I say the patterns, what are the various kind of seasonalities? Are there any trends, right? If you just think about the data, the first fundamental property of data is what are its measure of where the center located and how your data points are distributed. So how are you going to capture those the variations or the standard deviations from your data? And you always try to generate some kind of mathematical equations inside your machine learning algorithms, right? One such simple algorithm is like regression equations. So regression equation is always associated with some kind of a mathematical equation like y equal to mx plus c. So all of the information is captured in the mathematics, and before I'm just going to use it for my actual purpose, I'll always test it whether whatever my model which learned on my trained data is properly working on my test data or not. So once everything is done, so I can just go and use it for my production purpose or actual purpose. And there are various techniques like data pre-processing, future engineering. Even you can do some kind of power transformations on your data. One such thing could be you can do the averaging, or if you want to do some kind of filling the missing values and all, you can use the various averaging techniques or interpolations, the extrapolation. There are many things. Yeah. Vishal Joshi is asking, what are fundamental knowledge required for the data science course? Okay, guys, if you want to become a successful data scientist, you don't require any prior knowledge. And in the course, I'm going to teach, one is programming language, that is Python programming language, completely from the scratch. So assuming that you do not have any prior programming language. The second thing is, I'm going to talk about the mathematics. When I say the mathematics, the statistics and probability and linear algebra. Again, as I mentioned, my course is designed such a way that all of my participants are having zero knowledge. I'm going to teach from the zero. And again, so I'm going to teach what is required and how are you going to interpret your results. So probably many of people are having doubt. So how can he complete the course within 45 days, all the math and all? Trust me. So my course is designed such that what is required, and you no need to buy at anything. So always going to give some kind of practical examples and how are you going to correlate your math with the practical examples. So those two are the fundamental, and as I mentioned, you don't require any prior knowledge. Yeah, actually for my, there are 45 days are planned. Other than that, we have a the resume preparation and some kind of mock interviews. And at the same time, so we have the assignments. So there are many more. Okay, 1 second. So someone is asking a good question. Sumit Tapa. Okay, so how to become a data scientist, right? How to become a data scientist? Yeah, so the thing is, I just mentioned how does data scientist works, and at the same time, how to become a data scientist is. So again, you can correlate here. The thing is, these are the qualities. So how he is going to work it? So it just starts with asking the right questions. And just now I just mentioned, if you have the sufficient knowledge of the programming and the mathematics and statistics on the mathematics part, so then it is more than enough. You can work for any organization. When I say any organization, like few of the people might have from the engineering background, few of you are from the science background, right? So ultimately for you, what you need is data. So it doesn't matter what domain you are working for, right? So you are going to apply what are you going to learn during the course, and you can just derive the insights. Yes, Manish. So it will be 45 days every day at 7 p.m. Okay. And Abdur, so this course is completely, for everyone, this is completely for everyone, even for the fresher, or even if you have a some prior experience into other domains. So if you want to transition from your current career to the data science domain, so all are eligible. So basically it doesn't have any constraints and all. And you do not worry about, how about your current experience and all. So even you can convert or transform your current experience into the data science. Probably in your job duties, right? So probably you are trying to solve a particular problem, right? You might be using some different techniques, but with now what you do is whatever you learned right during this course, you are going to apply those techniques on your current business problem, right? So there you are not losing your past experience and all. So you can just continue the current experience as the real-time experience. Adrian, the cost and all will be shared by, I think, the admin people. They will be in touch with you. Okay, any career opportunities and guidance on any job openings? Yeah, certainly. Currently there are plenty of openings. Currently many of the organizations are transitioning from their current way of solving business problems using the data science techniques, right? Can anyone from non-engineering background get into? Yes. So if you look at here, like there are a few like engineering students, the medicine guys, and the pharma, sciences, art, e-commerce, business people, management people, anyone can attend. Like as I mentioned, the quality, like the skill set is required, the mathematics and the programming that I'll be teaching from the zero or from the scratch. I'm currently working on time series related project. Will this course help me? Certainly, yes. And this course, like as I mentioned, it is completely going to give a good foundation for you. It is not only going to help you on the time series forecasting, it is also going to help you how to solve object detections or fraud analytics, like insurance fraud analytics, and also like in the e-commerce, like, for the recommendation systems, and also in the medical domain. And if you take the pharma, right? So if you want to come up with a new drug, let's say, for example, recently the whole world is suffered from the COVID-19. So the pharma companies suffered a lot, and after a successful 2 years, they identified a drug, right? So for all those things, what we are going to learn in this course is going to be the fundamentals and the complete foundation. Siddesh, would Azure data science certification help? Is it necessary to have cloud knowledge? Is it necessary? Okay, guys, so you just think about where all the data scientist people. The main role of a data scientist role is how accurately you are predicting the results. Let's say, for example, you want to predict the stock price. So it doesn't matter. So how are you going to write your program and all? So what it matters? So how accurately you are predicting your price. So that is our ultimate area. And that is the area where the data scientist people are going to focus on. And if you ask me like the cloud computing, the Microsoft Azure and all, there are already people which are there. So their duty is they wanted to create some pipelines and they wanted to integrate their solution to the existing application, right? So they just want the accurate solution that will be provided by the data scientist people. Yeah, Manish, the course details also will be shared by the admin people, the complete course content, everything and all. Okay, is the quantitative researcher and data analyst, data scientist same or different? Yeah, like there are a few differences which changes from a company to company. But if you would like to tell you, research data scientist or data analyst is nothing but data scientist is always trying to solve a particular business problem, and data analyst is the person who is always going to get the data from the data engineers, and he'll make sure that all of your data is proper, and he's going to give you the basic insights to the business analyst people, and the data analyst is going to give you all the requirements on the data to the data scientist people. So the data scientist is going to train their models. Abdul, like 45 days equal data scientist expert. Of course, after practice. Exactly. Yes. Trust me. So if you can spend 45 hours of my session, plus you need to spend at least 1 hour to 1.5 hours or 2 hours a day, then you can solve any of your business problem on your own. Of course, so it all depends upon so how quickly you are grasping the knowledge. Exactly. So you can easily crack your interview. Before you apply for the jobs and also we'll be helping out how to prepare the CVs and how to apply the data science techniques on your current job role, right? So that you will get the more confident. So at the time of interview, you can tell them, okay, this is my domain experience. In this domain experience, I applied the data science techniques and how it helped my business, right? So you no need to keep something, some information from other CVs and all. You can just try to slightly tweak your existing resume such that have you solved your business problem using the data science techniques. That's all. Yeah. Currently, softwares have already replaced the data collection and analysis. Considering this, what is the future of data scientists? Guys, probably, I think by this time, if you take any device, there is no device without intelligence. When I say the intelligence, that is nothing but data science. If you take your mobile devices, right? If you want to unlock your mobile, so like face recognition. If you take your smart homes, again, there is an intelligence. Going forward, without data scientist, there is nothing. So like, I understand, like if you try to learn one course now after 3 years, maybe if some other course comes and all, so it's not like that. So data science is already part of our life. So that's the reason, like I keep on mentioning, the data scientist objective is to improve the quality of our lives. Suvendu Seth is asking, do we need to learn R language or Python is enough? Guys, so it is all about comfort of the data scientist people. If you are comfortable with R, you can use the R, there is no problem. And if you are comfortable with the Python, you can use the Python as well. But there is no much differences between Python and R in terms of the syntax and all. But in the course, I'll be teaching you the Python. Python is more than enough. If you know the Python, you can use even R also. It is very, very easy. Guys, any other questions? So let me. Rakesh, should one have Python skills as much as any others? No. Yeah. So actually here, right question, Rakesh. So I would like to give explanation to everyone. I'm just again stressing this point. The main role of data scientist is to provide the accurate solution. That's all. Even he is very, very poor at programming skills also, not a matter. But he should have at least some basic knowledge of how to write the code and how to execute it. That's all. So you cannot compare the software developer with the the data scientist Python person. Like many of the organizations, they know that they are going to use the data scientist people just to provide the solution. They don't want the optimized code and all, right? They just use the code as per your convenience, provide the solutions. If it is working fine, you provide your solution to the already existing software developers or application developers. They will take care of optimize your code and they will integrate in your cloud computing, so wherever they want. Akash Sharma, any websites available to create and test scripts providing data sets for testing? Yes, we have the many publicly available data repositories are available. One such is like Stanford. From the Stanford websites, you can get any domain data for your testing purpose. Anything you suggest to self-learn data science? Of course. So I can suggest to you, first just brush up on the fundamentals of the programming, at least how to execute and how to see the results and all. The second thing is, if you can able to understand what with the like practical application of, if I say variance, probably you all might be hearing the word called variance, correlation and covariance. Rather than just what is the mathematical formula and all, if you are in a position, if you can imagine, so what does it mean? right? So how it is going to help you to build a problem and all, right? So if you can always try to correlate what you learned with your practical or real-time examples, then that would be the much more enough. And later you can just use some kind of websites and all how they are doing that. But at the very beginning, you must be in a position to understand all the terminology, and you are in a position to imagine so how it is going to help to your data. I cannot able to attend the session at 7 p.m. due to some other meetings. Will the recorded session? Yes. So every day immediately after the session, recordings will be available. All the training material will be available. Code, everything will be uploaded into the website. You can just download them and you can refer those things. Guys, any other question? Let me go through the chart if I miss anything. No, actually all are weekday batches, Rahul. And I think I forgot to share you another slide. I think many of you, like we are all working very hard. So probably that is, for the sake of to get the more handsome amount and all, right? So these are the like latest jobs. I just copied it from the Indeed. It all depends upon so how well you are, gaining the knowledge. So, let's say for example, you have the like simple total 6 years of experience, you can expect a salary of like 30 lakhs per annum. And even sometimes, like it again, as depends upon the companies and all. There is a company called like ConnectWise. So if you have only 1 year of experience, they are willing to pay like 60 lakhs per annum and all. So like there are very few companies they can pay handsome amount, but on an average, so we can get at least 50% or double what you are getting right now. So if you can transition from your current role to a data science role. Yeah, guys. So if you don't have any questions, so probably we can wind up the session. And if you have any queries related to the course content, the cost details, other things and all, so they already have shared the registration link. So just fill those details so they will be in touch with you. So these are the timings, guys. The demo would be on 20th May, 7 p.m. and the classes would be on the 22nd. So it will be it falls on the Saturday and the classes start from the Monday onwards. Oh, I think there are a few more questions. I didn't see them. Prabhanjan, can the machines measure the stress of a human being? If you, of course, like as I mentioned, eye watches, right? So it just keeps on watching, your temperature levels, blood pressure levels, heartbeat rate and all. If there is like sudden spikes in the heartbeat rate and all, so obviously it is going to relate with your stress levels. Others. Okay. Yeah, thank you all. So thank you very much. And I really thanks for your patience and have a wonderful evening. Yeah. Have a great day and have a nice weekend, guys. Okay. Bye-bye.